Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Anustha Acharya. The top stories first. Khan says government withdraws citizenship bill to remove obstacle of citizenship disruption. Bill remains unchanged for the time being. Federation of Community Forest accuses government of neglecting forest areas. Federation demands for inclusive provisions of forest. FNCCI is preparing to hold a Nepal-China investment summit. FNCCI hopes to extract Chinese investment in Nepal. Japanese former Prime Minister shot dead during a campaign speech. A man arrested at the scene on suspicion of attempted murder. And ANFA decided to cancel the agreement with Nepal Super League. ANFA points out errors of the agreement. And now the news in detail. Home Minister Balkrishna Khan has said that the government has withdrawn the citizenship bill from the House of Representatives to remove the obstacle in the disruption of citizenship. In a meeting of the House of Representatives on Friday, Home Minister Khan said that the current status of the citizenship bill in the House of Representatives has remained unchanged. He said that the bill was withdrawn to remove the obstacle in the distribution of citizenship. He said that the bill has to be introduced by the government would be brought on the basis of previous bill. The meeting of Secretariat of the CPN Unified Socialist has nominated Sarala Yadav as the Chief Whip of the House of Representatives on behalf of the party. The party spokesperson Jagannath Khatioda said that the decision was taken at a meeting of the party secretariat held at the party office on Friday. He also said that it was decided at the meeting to appoint Harka Bahadur Singh, a former Prime Minister and member of the party's Central Committee, as the Singh, a former MP and member of the party's Central Committee, as the chairman of the Far Western Provincial Committee of Unified Socialist.
प्रतिनिधि सभाको प्रमुख सचेतकमा हाम्रो संसदीय दलको तर्फबाट प्रमुख सचेतकमा माननीय सरला यादवलाई मनोनयन गर्ने निर्णय गरेको छ। सुदूरपश्चिम प्रदेश कमिटी नेकपा एकीकृत समाजवादीको अध्यक्षमा पूर्व सांसद पार्टी केन्द्रीय कमिटीका सदस्य कमरेड हर्कबहादुर सिंहलाई अध्यक्ष पदको जिम्मेवारी प्रदान गरेको छ।
Speaking briefly after the meeting, CPN Unified Socialist leader Jhalanath Khanal said that the party should expand its party organization in 165 federal constituencies and 330 provincial constituencies, expand grassroots organizations and expand party organizational nationwide. He said that he has decided to do so.
एकीकृत समाजवादीलाई देशका 165 वटै संघीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र र 330 वटै प्रादेशिक निर्वाचन क्षेत्रमा व्यापक रूपले पार्टी संगठन विस्तार गर्ने, जनवर्गीय संगठनहरू विस्तार गर्ने, पार्टी संगठनलाई राष्ट्रव्यापी रूपमा विस्तार गर्ने निर्णय गरियो।
Respected leader Khanal said that the country was preparing for federal and state election and that it was decided to move ahead with the preparations for the upcoming election in a party-wide manner. The Federation of Community Forest Users Nepal has accused the government of neglecting the forest area which can structure all areas. The Federation has accused the government of trying to deprive the people of the forest. A report.
The Community Forest Users Federation had protested, saying that the Forest Act 2076 made public by the government includes provision against the Constitution, federalism, community forest and women's rights. Community forest rights were ensured in the final draft of the forest regulation through a street movement led by the Federation. However, FNJ has demanded that some of the points included in the regulation should be scrapped as there would be a serious regression in Nepal's forest area. They have demanded the repeal of the forest regulations, saying that the forest regulations are contrary to the declaration of the 7th workshop on community forests and also contrary to the Forest Act 2076 BS. President of Community Forest Federation Nepal, Bharati Pathak, argues that the state has been restructured in all areas but not in the forest sector.
को कुरा गर्दा सबै क्षेत्र राज्यको पुनर्संरचना भयो, अन्य क्षेत्रको पनि पुनर्संरचना भयो, तर वन क्षेत्रको पुनर्संरचना हुन सकेन। किन भन्दा वनलाई चाहिँ एकदम केन्द्रीकृत मानसिकताबाट मात्रै हेरियो। सामुदायिक वनको हकको कुरा गर्ने हो भने त 49 मा वन ऐन आयो। वन ऐन आइसकेपछि सामुदायिक वनलाई पहिलो प्राथमिकतामा राखेर वन जोगाउने भनेको स्थानीय जनता हुन्, जो जंगलको नजिक रहन्छ, उहाँहरूले मात्रै वन जोगाउन सक्छ भनेर चाहिँ त्यति बेला समुदायलाई वन हस्तान्तरण गरियो र वन ऐन 2049 आइसकेपछि सामुदायिक वनको छुट्टै महाशाखा राखेर समुदायका अधिकारहरू, समुदायका गुनासाहरू, समुदायको आगामी सम्भावनाको विषयमा छलफल गरिन्थ्यो। त्यो महाशाखा पनि हटाइयो।
It is alleged that FNJ has removed the provision of at least 50% representation of women in the executive committee as the contribution of men and women in equal in the success of community forests. The Federation, which is an umbrella organization, and private forests have started protests all over the country. The Federation had also burned the regulations, saying that the government had published the Gazette by approving the forest regulations against local community, women and federalism. The NGO Federation claims that it is trying to deprive the people of the forests protected by the people. Ghanashyam Pandey, chairman of Green Foundation, said that the regulation came against the constitution and exploited the rights of the forest user groups. Pandey argues that the new Forest Act is anti-democratic as it has weakened the community. The Federation has warned to continue agitation against the forest regulation brought without hearing the voice of the community.
This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. After the break, we continue with other national news. The country on Friday recorded 78 new cases of COVID-19 with no infection-related death. The case loads were registered from a total of 3,515 tests, according to the Ministry of Health and Population. On July 6, 130 new cases was reported in the country. So far, 976,598 people have recovered from the deadly virus, with 23 in the past 24 hours. The recovery rate stands at 98.7%. The number of active cases currently stands at 508 across the country. At present, 501 infected people are in home isolation and 7 in institutional isolation. Similarly, 7 have been admitted into intensive care unit. And now the news from economic front. The Federation of Nepalese Chambers of Commerce and Industry (FNCCI) is preparing to hold a Nepal-China Investment Summit. FNCCI announced that the summit is being held with the objective of attracting Chinese investment in Nepal. FNCCI has requested the Nepalese embassy in Beijing, China to assist for the summit. Senior Vice President of FNCCI Chandraprasad Thakal and newly appointed Nepali ambassador to the People's Republic of China Vishnu Pukhar Shrestha held a meeting on Friday regarding the summit where Thakal made such request. The FNCCI expects Ambassador Shrestha to play a leading role in China's cooperation with summit at the summit. Thakal also stressed on the necessity of promoting Chinese investment in Nepal. Thakal, who is currently the acting president of the Nepal Federation, emphasized on the need to make the relationship between FNCCI and the All China Federation of Industry and Commerce (ACFIC) and China Council for the Promotion of International Trade (CCPIT) more fruitful. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back. Now the international news. Shinzo Abe, the former Prime Minister of Japan, died of gunshot wounds sustained during a campaign speech on Friday. Japan's public broadcaster NHK and the BBC reported his death. He died at 17:03 local time, and NHK camera footage showed Abe collapsed in the street clutching his chest, with the broadcaster reporting he had heart failure. Abe was taken to hospital by helicopter following the incident, and the suspected man in his 40s was arrested at the scene on suspicion of attempted murder. The man was reportedly a member of Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force until 2005. Doctors who spent 4.5 hours treating Abe confirmed 2 bullets but found no bullets. The chest wound was deep enough to pierce very close to the heart. Local media reported that Abe lost more than 100 units of blood. At a press conference, the medical team reported that they were able to control the blood loss but were unable to restore Abe's pulse. Paramedics said it was a frontal wound and no neck wound. This contrasts with previous media reports that Abe was hit from the back and the right hand was also hit in the neck. The motive behind the shooting of Abe remains unclear. In the afternoon, local media quoted police sources who quoted the man as saying that he did not agree with Abe's policies. Just an hour later, they informed him that he had no political disagreement. India-administered Kashmir police have said that at least 8 people have been killed and several others were missing after a suddenly heavy rainstorm that nearly a holy Amarnath grave shrine in India. The cloud burst on Friday near the mountain cave revered by Hindus, sent a wall of water down a church and swept away about 2 dozen camps and 2 makeshift kitchens, officials said. An estimated 10,000 people were in the mountains when the rain struck. Indo-Tibetan border police Vivek Pandey said within 10 to 15 minutes, the force of the water was such that it took the tents with it. Many tents were washed away. The region's disaster management department said emergency workers were searching for the several missing people. Kashmir Police Chief Vijay Kumar said a rescue operation has recovered 8 dead bodies after the cloud burst near the cave. Some tents and community kitchens have washed away in the flash flood. Another official, who was not authorized to speak to the media, said the death toll was 13, as 5 more bodies have been recovered, as reported by Al Jazeera. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. All Nepal Football Association (ANFA) has decided to cancel the agreement with Nepal Super League and its organizers, Nepal Sports and Event Management Private Limited. With this cancellation, the existence of the franchise league has come into question yet again. ANFA committee under Karma Chiring Sherpa has granted NSEM new dates to organize the second edition from September 10 to October 11. A meeting between ANFA and the disgruntled A-Division club on Friday decided to cancel the agreement with NSL. The meeting decided to recommend the cancellation of the agreement with the conclusion that there were errors in some points of the agreement with NSL. The franchises had also agreed on helping to develop the game in their respective provinces, but the work has not been done according to the agreement, hence cancellation of the agreement, said Khadga. The tournament will not be conducted on the dates given by ANFA. Khadga further assured that the new dates will be fixed after meeting with the franchises and finding an agreement. Furthermore, ANFA will sit down with the NSL organizers and franchises to settle the issue on Sunday or Monday and try to come under new agreement, according to Khadga. There were already a lot of talks about NSL from the moment Pankaj Bikram Nembang was elected ANFA president. After the cancellation of the agreement, the existence of the franchise league in Nepal goes into uncertainties. Angel Di Maria has joined Juventus on a free transfer, agreeing a 1-year contract. The Argentina winger, 34, left Paris Saint-Germain at the end of last season after 7 years. Manchester United paid a British record fee of £59.7 million to sign Di Maria from Real Madrid in 2014, but sold him to PSG for £44.3 million a year later. Di Maria won 5 French league titles with PSG, scoring 92 goals in 295 games. Meanwhile, France midfielder Paul Pogba has arrived in Turin with his move to Juventus said to be confirmed. Pogba, 29, left Manchester United at the end of his contract this summer and is returning to Juventus 6 years after the Premier League club re-signed him from a then world record of £89 million fee. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Khan says government withdraws citizenship bill to remove obstacle of citizenship. Bills remain unchanged for the time being. Federation of Community Forest accuses government of neglecting forest areas. Federation demands for inclusive provisions of forest. FNCCI is preparing to hold the Nepal-China Investment Summit. FNCCI hopes to attract Chinese investment in Nepal. Japanese former Prime Minister shot dead during a campaign speech. A man arrested at the scene on suspicious of attempted murder. And ANFA decided to cancel the agreement with Nepal Super League. ANFA points out errors for the agreement. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website, janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.